Thanks for joining us, Chris. If we just start off, looking forward to Friday night against Leinster. It's a big game for the Ospreys, and after back-to-back defeats in Scotland, it becomes all important for us this one.
Yeah, it's awesome to be back home. 6 weeks since we've been played back at the Liberty in front of our crowd. So the boys are really excited and looking forward to that. The crowd play a massive part in our performances, and so we're hoping there'll be a good turnout to support us in what will be a pretty epic game.
What are the messages that you're sending to the players this week ahead of back-to-back home games now against Leinster and Munster?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, again, it's about performance. And, these two sides are pretty well organised on both attack and defence. Leinster are a very good side and have proven to be for quite a while. So, again, we've got to have to make sure that the attention to detail is the key bit. We've got to make sure we know what we're doing in our roles. We've got to make sure that we're clear in communication. And again, I think the other part of it you've got to bring with these both Leinster and Munster is that you've got to bring some physicality. And that's what we're looking to do.
Obviously, as forwards coach, you're responsible for the scrum, and that's an area that's been a talking point of late, and a lot of perceived weaknesses in that area for us at the moment.
Yep.
What do you make of all that talk?
Well, I think, again, the results speak for themselves, really. I think, it has been under pressure a wee bit. The thing is that with scrummaging, it's, and with young guys, it takes time to understand and learn your positions and then be able to execute that under immense pressure, out in the middle. And I think you can't shortcut that stuff, and that takes time. And we've been showing progress in that area. Again, we've just got to make sure we're consistent, and that's the biggest thing that we're trying to drive, is making sure that our setups are consistent. We're getting across the centre line, and we've got good constant pressure. And I think if we can start improving in there, we'll start getting better results, as we showed on the weekend that we can do it. The key thing about scrummaging is making sure that everyone's clear on what their role is, and then they do their role to the best of their ability. And then, we're working as a unit, not just as individuals. And it's easy for me as an individual, if I was in this front row, is to try and drill my guy. But the key thing is that we've just got to make sure we work as one, and do your role, but make sure it fits into what the plan is. As I said before, just with young guys, and we've had a lot of combinations. We've had a lot of guys out. Our frontline guys are out, and their Welsh lads are gone now. And these young guys, like I said before, you can't shortcut that, and this just takes time. So again, we're chipping away at it.
How far down the line do you think we are with these guys in terms of when we're going to reach the finishing line, or is it always a work in progress?
No.
You are?
No, I think at the end of the day, I know it's a bit painful when we are going through a bit of pain at the moment, and again, we're constantly on about trying to improve and trying to be the best that we can. There is a lot of light in the end of the tunnel for us, and I think the boys are seeing it themselves, and I think there's a lot of confidence around our scrum about what we're trying to do. It's again just making sure that in those moments, each scrum is taken on its own merit, and we just do our role at that time. But again, it takes a little bit of time, like I said before. But we are seeing some benefit, and we've just got to make sure we keep putting that out there.
A technical question for you then, maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of talk is about the change to the laws around the engagement and taking the hit away. To a layman like myself, who I'll honestly admit knows nothing that goes on in the front row, how much difference does that make to a player?
It definitely has made an impact on it. And again, it's really just the pre-engagement, the bind bit. Everything else, the principles still stay the same. You still need to be balanced and in good positions. But the pre-engaged bind now is there's a bit of a weight transfer from there. It has shortened up the gap a wee bit, and so you've got to make sure that you're in good position, you're in good balanced position, so you still can get across the centre line and get into the best pushing position while still managing to make sure your bind's sorted out. So that part there has made a wee bit of a difference. The thing is this, that like it's evolved as the laws sort of been coming and everyone's sort of finding their way. The law has actually evolved, and we've actually gone back to what it was a little bit before, about making sure that you're getting across the centre line. You've got a good hit into a load position, and then constant pressure. So if you can do those things well, generally you're okay. And obviously working with your angles in the front row. Just
turning attention away from the scrum a little bit, what other areas of a forward game do you find that you're particularly pleased about at the moment?
I think, we're constantly working on our drive height and things like that. And again, it's no different to a scrum. When you got young guys in there, again, it takes it takes a bit of time to develop your drive, and again, just understanding what it feels like, and you know, that physical presence that you've got to have in and around that you just, there's no substitute for actually doing that stuff. You can talk about it, you can look at video, you can walk through it as much as you want, but until you're actually out there in the battle doing it, that's where you get your most yardage. And you know, with young guys, you've got to make sure you balance their working week off, so you just can't keep doing all of that stuff. So, but we have been making progress in that area as well. The thing I guess that I'm really pleased about is just the way that the guys are understanding the line out, and not just learning their role, they're learning the whole line out. And I think that, you know, again, we just got to keep pushing that, because if I understand my role and understand what you're doing, then that actually makes better, it just makes it everything sync better. I think, you know, and Tom's been doing a lot of work around our defences and stuff as well, and I think there's been some improvement there as well. So two positive areas out of it. Again, just working on our drive attack, drive D, just constant work ons.
And never being happy with what you got.
No, exactly.
Just changing focus a little bit to look ahead to next season, perhaps. We've got Paul James coming back to the region, as everyone knows. People like DeCock, who, fingers crossed, will be fit and ready to go for pre-season. Will be like a new signing again, because he's still a feature for us. And when you add in the experience of people like Mark, Gareth, Sausage, Dimitri have gained this year, am I being overly optimistic by saying things look positive in the long term? No, they do definitely look positive. And again, it's something that, you know, it's unfortunate that we've had some pretty significant injuries into guys like Decock, Lloyd Pears and guys like that, you know. Again, we add those guys into the mix, and, you know, obviously Paul coming back is a pretty exciting thing for the club. But you add those guys into what we're establishing here, and I think we've got a genuinely really competitive forward pack and forward unit, and one that there'll be lots of competition, and guys will be pushing each other for starting positions, and I think that only breeds a higher standard. Guys are a lot more competitive, and it, you know, I think it brings the best out in guys. On the talk of competitiveness, just one final question. Are we set up with where we're going for next season? Is this the pool that we've got, or are you always looking to freshen up, or have we got young boys coming in that people might not be aware of at the moment? No, we definitely constantly looking, and I think if you don't, you know, you just don't keep that step ahead. Not saying that we're not happy with what our squad is, our roster. We're definitely happy, but again, we just, you know, through this competition and through guys really fighting for that selection, what it does is it does one of two things. It brings the best out in some guys, and other guys it really highlights some of the things that they need to work on, or whether or not that they're going to fit for us. And I think, you know, by constantly looking out there, looking at who's the best players, looking at what we need, and that keeps us ahead. And I think that's the key to this whole thing for us. And again, you know, we're looking at young guys a lot, looking to where we need to fit our older guys in to give us the experience to bring the next lot through, and then we just package that around our coaching. And if we can put good resource around those young guys with some leadership and some solid coaching, then we'll get a better product than that in the short time.